they whizzed me right into the ICU, and Bill started reeling off my health background. Her dad died of a heart attack at 62, and she's diabetic. And the two doctors, one was a heart specialist and one was a specialist in diabetes. And he's like, I know what this is. It's a DKA, which is a fancy way of saying
diabetic ketoacidosis.
And he said, we need to put her into a medically induced coma to save her life, and it has to be now. Otherwise, she's going to go into a diabetic coma and probably will lose her. So they put me into a coma. And, all that time, I had complete peace. And so I don't remember a lot. Bill is my memory from the time they said, we need to put her in a coma. And from the moment that my eyes closed, I woke up and I was in the heavenlies. It was so beautiful. Wow. Okay. Heaven's gates, the golden streets, it was just perfect love, perfect peace, perfect joy. And people are like, did you see Jesus? And I said, no, it was more like Jesus was wrapped around me, like he was holding me. And the Bible says you'll hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. So it's like he was whispering in my ears in all the conversations. And then I knew it was Jesus because he's my Emmanuel, God with us. And he was with me every step of the way. I knew he was my wonderful counselor, my mighty God, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. My soul knew where I was. And then there were beautiful dancing angels, and their wings were all golden. And then it would kind of morph and change, and the angels would turn into these beautiful mountain peaks with rushing golden rivers, like rivers of gold rushing down. And people I loved were scooping up the gold. And I'm like, Jesus, what is that, And he said, Pam, every day at 3:20 in the afternoon, you pray Ephesians 3:20 for whoever you're with or your family. I'm showing you what prayer looks like on my side.
Wow.
And I'm like, of course, it's exceedingly abundantly. And of course, we had all kinds of conversations. And the most important one was is this the end? I do feel like I've run the course. I've finished the race. But I have 2 grandsons going to be born. And I would love to see them. And I have more books. Lord, 61 books. That's ample. But I feel like there's more.
The most fascinating thing she shared with me, Bob, was I asked her, I go, well, was there music playing?
Sure.
And she said there was all kinds of music playing, but none of it conflicted with each other.
It was like the most beautiful, you haven't even heard music like this. And anyway, so I said, am I done? Is my life complete? Yeah. And he's like, Pam, if you haven't noticed, this is the outside gate, and the angels have been above you. I didn't let you in because this is not your time. It's time for you to go back, more for you to do to serve me. And so I open up my eyes, and I'm in the ICU. The nurse runs in, and I'm on a ventilator, and my hands are tied down. She's like, you probably want to know what happened. And I nod, yes. And then I saw, she began to explain everything. And Bill had been sent home about 3 a.m. So Bill wasn't in the room the moment I woke up. And tell him what the doctor said to you.
Well, while Pam saw this, great, glorious picture of the gates of heaven, I saw a very different scenario.
I'm sure, yes.
So the last thing that I saw, I walked into the ICU and saw her on a ventilator. There were 11 tubes running in different parts of her body. I took a look at her vital signs, which were all starting to drop. And being a pastor, I've been in hospital rooms several times, so I recognized a lot of the vital signs. And the doctor said to me, Bill, you really should go home and get some rest. We're going to do everything we can, and if anything changes, we'll call you. And I drove home saying, Lord, I hope I don't get a phone call.
Yes.
And so now I'm in the trauma of, God, this may be it. I know no matter what happens to Pam, she's going to be okay. I just hope you plan on giving her back. And then I tried to get some rest.
Right. And he knew I'd be okay because I know Jesus. So if I go to heaven,
right,
glory. If God sends me back, glory. It's wonderful. But he knew the heart of my kids and my grandkids. And so he was praying, Lord, merciful God, please.